horse cab. No other visitor to these premises would go to the expense of a pair. I deduce that our guests have arrived. I got up, pulled aside the lace curtain, and glanced down into the street. The black polish of the coachwork was immaculate. The two greys had been brushed and combed as if for the trooping of the colour on Horse Guards parade. Presently there was a pull at the bell, and then laughter on the stairs as Fisher exchanged some pleasantry or other with Mrs. Hudson. Sir John had come to tea in mufti, a black swallowtail coat, cravat, and striped trousers. The humorous line of the mouth in that sallow complexion, plus a quiet resolve behind pale grey eyes, summed up his character. In his left hand he was carrying a slim black attaché case. It was hardly the mark of a man who has just dropped in for a cup of tea. Behind him, Mycroft Holmes seemed like a shambling bear in a grey flannel suit. Yet, as Sherlock Holmes never tired of assuring me, Brother Mycroft was not only the British government's senior adviser on interdepartmental affairs. At certain times of crisis, he became the British government. We took 4 armchairs within range of the fireplace where the kettle sang on the hob. Mycroft and Sir John were on one side, Sherlock Holmes and I on the other. Between us stretched a low tea-table laid with a white cloth of Irish lace. The polished dome of a muffin dish reposed among Georgian silverware and Minton china. Of course we served ourselves. No parlour-maid was permitted to enter on these occasions and, perhaps, overhear part of our conversation. While we looked on, Sherlock Holmes performed the ritual of pouring hot water from the fireside kettle into the teapot, his brows drawn down, intent upon this task as though it were an intricate forensic experiment. His voice remained at our disposal as the cups were filled. "You have no doubt come to tell us, Sir John, that Admiral von Tirpitz's intelligence officers have broken the Admiralty War Code again, or perhaps that the plans of the battle-cruiser Queen Mary with full details of her armour-plating and gunnery ranges are missing from Woolwich Arsenal. At this very moment, I dare say, they are being scrutinised by Tirpitz and his staff officers on the map tables of the Wilhelmstrasse." Fisher smiled rather faintly, accepting his cup of tea, and pulled a face. "What I have to tell you, Mr. Holmes, will sound far more trivial. To me, however, it is more important than codes and gunnery ranges. We may lose a telegraphic code and replace it soon enough. We may lose a battle-cruiser and yet win a war without her. We would still have the most powerful navy in the world, and the capacity of defending ourselves, so long as we produce officers and seamen of the calibre and the morale to man the fleet." Holmes straightened up, looking puzzled, and handed a cup to Mycroft. "I fear you have the advantage of me, Sir John. Surely we already have such men." Mycroft took his cup and said, "Sir John's concern, dear brother, is with future officers who must be trained to lead by example." "Well," said Sherlock Holmes wonderingly, "I should have thought that I was the last person to come to for advice on naval training." He swept his coat-tails round him and sat down. Sir John Fisher gave a sigh. "Then you have not heard of Patrick Riley, have you, Mr. Holmes?" "I do not think so." "I suppose that is something to be thankful for. Just at present, the fewer people who know of him, the better. The press are lying quiet at the moment, but that will not last. Riley is a cadet, 14 years old, at St. Vincent's Naval Academy, not far from Ventnor on the Isle of Wight." "Then I have certainly not heard of him. Why should this youth be of such importance?" Fisher put down his cup and saucer. "St. Vincent's is a private academy, but it is licensed by the Admiralty and therefore of consequence to us. Until a few years ago, in the Royal Navy, we used to take cadets for our own naval colleges at 12 years old. That was eventually thought to be too young. The minimum age was raised to 14. Unfortunately, this opened the way for private academies like St. Vincent's to take younger boys as cadets during those previous 2 years. Frankly, these private institutions are a thorn in my side, and I would happily make a bonfire of them all. However, they exist, and their sole purpose is to prepare younger boys for entrance to the senior Royal Naval Academies of Osborne and Dartmouth between the ages of 14 and 16. "I confess," said Holmes, "that such places are a closed book to me. Tell me, how are these younger boys trained?"